On Wednesday, April 22nd, Junior Emma Kindt hosted a student and faculty panel on relationships entitled, "You Are Not a Fish."
Kind of an attention getter because you're like, well, yeah, I'm not a fish. But I'm sure most of you guys know the saying, there's plenty of fish in the sea. And so when Emma asked me, like, what's the title we should call this? I like puns, and so I was trying to think of a pun to go with that. But then the more I thought about that saying, the more I was like, there's kind of some negative implications with this saying. And so, like, the biggest things that I noticed in that is, like, first of all, it's pretty objectifying. Like, it's just looking at people from, like, status standpoint. Like, who are you to me? Like you're a fish. Like, you fulfill this role for me. And so I was like, well, that's not good. Because, like, anytime you call someone a fish, that's, like, you're objectifying them. So there's that. And then there's also the fact that, like, plenty of fish in the sea. And it kind of implies, like, well, if this one didn't work out, go get the other one. Like, it's like you have to have a fish, which is also not true. Like, you don't need to be in a relationship to be, like, complete and fulfilled in life.
Questions were asked throughout the night, and the panel spoke openly about past and current relationships.
So it's been a year and 5 months, or yeah-ish. And we were engaged January 10th of this year, so pretty recently. And yeah, I've been in a couple relationships before coming here, and I came here just, I mean, not like looking to necessarily like date, but I felt like I grew a lot I transferred here my sophomore year. So freshman year of college, I didn't really like it there that much, and I was looking forward to getting immersed into a community, and I was really looking to make best friends. And really just seeking God and developing my own identity with my faith, and seeing whoever was okay with that. And that's, yeah, really what drew me to Mary. We just, yeah, became best friends, and that's our goal, yeah, to stay that. So.
Yep. And before coming here, I've never been in a relationship. So Paul was my first boyfriend. And so like the first few years of college, I wasn't really looking for anyone either, just kind of trying to find myself, and I really grew in my faith during those years. And then I met Paul, and yeah, we became really, really close friends, and really got to grow with each other, just individually and like in our faith during like those months before we started dating. And so yeah, ever since it's been wonderful.
Faith being the primary topic of the night, the panel discussed their highs and lows while being in their current status.
Okay. She's the firstborn, I'm the lastborn. As the lastborn, I didn't pay attention to anything in life, right? And so between getting married, moving to Key West, start, teaching in the classroom, everything that came along, it was just a struggle trying to figure out finances, and then kids came along. Thank goodness she had handled kids before, because being the youngest, you don't deal with that. And all through life, as we look through it, there were always those types of struggles of just trying to figure out what are we doing next, and how are we going to handle that. And then, then there's the idea of, okay, now I got a call. What are we going to do with that? And what are we going to do with these kids, and a call, and should we take it or not? There were a lot of those types of struggles. And yet probably, even though we're a lot different as far as people here, I think the one thing that we had very much in common was just that faith that we have in Jesus Christ. And not just the faith in Jesus Christ, but our backgrounds were probably very similar as far as growing up in a Lutheran church, having great pastors for confirmation class, that drilling into us that catechism and the Bible verses and everything. So we really needed all of that when we got into the classroom and when we were married. Just relying back on what God had to tell us. how he prepared us in what, 7th and 8th grade, really for what we were going to run into as, at that point, we were labeled adults, okay? That would have been questionable at the beginning, right? Yeah. Yes. Your turn.
Well, let's see. For me, wow, this is really very exposing. Okay, so I'm going to peel back a couple layers here. For me, probably the biggest joy for me in knowing Ken and dating and being engaged and getting married is that I really am still attracted to a very humble person. And I am not, those of you who know me really well, I'm not always real humble. I'm kind of, anyway, I think that's always something I'm working on. And I think that, I know some of you talked about another person completing you. That's not really true. You're a complete person the way that God made you. But a nice match is a person who can complement some of your weaknesses or strengths, and that's what I have because I need it. But yeah, so challenges. I stayed home for 6 years with our children, and so being happy doing that was a challenge for me. Okay, can you get that? I wanted to do that, and it was my choice to do that, but being sincerely happy doing that was a challenge for me. Because it was a humbling thing, right? So that's my struggle. Yeah, so I think that's and so there are times when I can't figure out how he can be so okay with something that I just want to take care of. So I think that makes us, I need that personally. I need somebody who's going to just be, calm and that. So did that answer the question? Okay, good.
We had audience member Maggie Qualter talk about how she felt about the panel.
It was really great. I thought it was super cool that they broke it up the way that they did. Like, they had the single people talk, they had people that were just dating, people that were engaged, and then someone that obviously has been married for like a super long time. And I thought the questions were really awesome, that they talked about like a lot of different things that are relevant to every person, whether you're in a relationship or not. And it was great. And yeah.
Host Emma Kindt had a few last words to say about the panel and what she wanted the audience to get out of it.
They come from, they could be single, dating, and be unhappy with that or happy with that. And so I just hope that the words that everyone spoke tonight kind of help them feel comforted in where they are, or maybe help them realize what they can have. And I guess that's something, this is getting personal on my side, should have been on the panel, but something like I didn't realize what God could offer in someone else. And so I think I was led to settling with different people, and I think it's when you see someone else who has something that you don't have, I think it can kind of make you think about and reflect on yourself and where you are. And so I think that is maybe something that maybe even if one person would take that away, and also just the conversations that can happen now are just that one-on-one, and maybe they'll see someone on campus and be I didn't get to ask this the other night, but kind of making those connections with people too, and seeing that there are people here who can support them. So.
Overall, the panel was a success, and she hopes that there will be another panel in the future.